Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Santai Talk. I'm joined by Calvin today, but unfortunately, Jacelyn wasn't able to be with us today.
That's alright.
Yeah.
Just two guys hanging out, talking about stuff,
Yep. So two dudes chilling out. So, bro,
Yeah.
you want to guess what's our topic today?
I don't have to guess. I already know. Okay, so today's topic, ladies and gentlemen, we want to spice things up a little bit, So today, let's talk about our paranormal experiences, if you have any.
Yeah.
For me, definitely, I know you had your fair share of paranormal experiences,
Yep.
Among our close friend circle as well. Very unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't. So I'll be more than happy to tap into the stories that you have, So let's begin.
So you're telling me you have never ever have a paranormal experience before?
No, like not even the most minor of things, like how some people they'll say that, they saw something in the corner of their eye, stuff like that. For me, I've never had that, and I think that's like the most minor case ever. So I've never had any experiences with such things lah. So sometimes I'm super curious about it.
I see.
But it's not something I would deliberately, say that, I want to experience it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you can look at it at a good way, because it is not a pleasant feeling to encounter anything paranormal. So, actually, just a bit of a background for myself, because I always lived in skepticism. Like when your parents pray, our parents pray to the altar, and then we have like all these deities and all this stuff. So I always live in skepticism. Like I'm not sure whether if it really works. I'm not sure if it is really something out there that is listening to us, or like changing our destiny or something like that.
So it's like superstition to you lah.
Yeah, like for me, those are superstitions, and I'm always skeptical. It's not like I don't believe them altogether, but I tend to like question it. Like, is it really that case? Something like that. So I'm not sure. You guys can believe it or not, but the first hard evidence that I had for those things that exist is when one of my friends, his name is Jackson. He's your friend too. He go and take a video tour around his house because he wants to have a feng shui master to look at a house, but for some reason the master just couldn't make it to this place, so he have to take a video. So I was there, and then he just go on the tour. He started recording from the front of his house to the yard, to the inside of the house. Yeah, I was with him all the time. I was exactly there on the spot when he was recording. Yeah.
Oh, you mean Jackson was recording like a tour of his house like that lah?
Yeah, from the front of the house to the yard, to the inside of the house, to the rooms, to the upstairs. Yeah, I was with him the entire time. So after that, I didn't review the footage. Like after he took the video, we didn't look in the footage. We just saved it for later. So then me and Jackson went to the master's place, and he looked at the video. And when he looked at the video, immediately he's like, "Okay, pause here." Yeah, he's like, "Pause here." So when we pause, I'm like, "What's there? There's nothing there." But when he starts zooming into the frame, then that's when we start seeing things. Yeah, like.
Hey, wait, hold on. Okay, Kenneth, you know how we tend to believe things when they sound convincing?
Yeah.
Even though maybe sometimes they're not. So do you think maybe when the feng shui master, maybe he's trying to play some subliminal game with you, so he's telling you prior that, look at this, there's actually something there. So would you say that?
So no, what the master said was,
yeah.
Okay, you look at this picture here and tell me what you see.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
He didn't tell you right away.
Yeah, he didn't tell me right away. He said, what do you see?
Oh my god.
It's very obvious. Then there is
it's obvious.
Yeah,
very defined.
Two very defined shapes of two little kids floating in the air. Yeah, holding hands.
Dude.
Yeah.
Shit. Actually, this actually sparked a memory in my mind, because I think Jackson, our friend, he actually did show me the video prior, some time ago. But I couldn't see anything, maybe because I didn't zoom in enough. I think
you need to zoom in quite inside to see. Yeah, but that was the first time I ever saw with my two own eyes.
So deadass, that's really what you saw. That's what you believed that.
Yeah. So that was the first time I saw hard evidence, and then yeah, it's not only two little kids, but there were more. There was a shape of an old man with 5 heads.
Wow.
Yeah, that one. It's one of the, according to the feng shui master, it's one of the generals from hell. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So how does this general look like? Is his head bigger than his body? Is he deformed in any way? Does he look?
We can't see its entire body, but we can see some parts of it. But we can definitely tell there's 5 heads.
And each head you get to see like the eyes, the nose, the mouth.
Yeah, wow. and the beard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then on the walls there's a massive head. On the wall.
A massive what?
A head, a big head.
A massive head.
Yeah, on the wall. So, so yeah, that was the first time I ever saw in the video. And then the feng shui master said, wow, what a good camera that you have. Because they say not every camera will get to record all this stuff, because it has to be a camera that was made on a certain time when all the stars are aligned. Then that camera will only have some abilities to capture all this. Yeah. So
in a way, it's like the camera's third eye. In a way.
Yeah. The camera's a third eye. So Jackson got that phone, and that phone can capture all this spiritual stuff. So we have a video of it for a couple of months, and I think we even showed a few of our friends. I'm not sure if he showed you.
I think I did take a glimpse of it, and I think the one that serves my memory best is when our friend Jackson, when he recorded in his living room. I think there's a painting.
Yep.
It's a painting of a field, and you know how fields, once you zoom in, it's
there's
just,
a lot of paddies, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it is pastures of paddy, that kind of thing. And I think in the detail itself, it's where you get to see like a hint of a shape or something, something that's not pleasant. I think that is the one that I remember the most. But regarding the 5-head general, a big ass face, I don't really remember that.
Okay.
But I think
yeah, I mean, I remember it really clearly because I saw it, and yeah, like the master just point out to us in the frame and just say, what do you see? And we immediately saw it. So I'm like, oh my gosh.
So like, aside from this experience of the recording, I mean, when you were in his house, right? Do you felt like an entity around you or stuff like that?
Yeah, like when I was at his place previously, like before I even know all these things, I didn't want to say unpleasant, just that I always feel like it's not what it seems to be, that kind of feeling. Like there's something behind the walls or something hidden behind the shades that you can't really like tell, but yeah, like something
you see, but something you feel in your heart.
Yeah, like you feel that there's something more than what you see, you know. So
right, you know, and it's like sort of like maybe our intuition or our instinct, you know, maybe it's our own higher power that's telling us, oh, you know, there's something here.
Yeah, exactly.
Because in the end of the day, right, I do believe like when we talk about ghosts and spirits and stuff like that, they're energy waves, they're vibrations, you know, and everything is literally energy. We're made up of energy, you know. So who is to say that these things do not exist, you know?
Yeah, like you can't destroy energy.
Yeah, and energy can form itself in any way, stuff like that, you know.
Exactly. So everything is energy. Everything is there's mass. So it just the energy takes different shapes and forms, right? So who's to say like there's nothing like this exists out there? So
yeah, that's completely right. I don't think humanity, you know, we even know ourselves 100% throughout, you know. That the universe and the cosmos are so mind-bogglingly large that we don't even know what's out there, you know. Let's sidetrack a little bit and let's talk about the universe a little bit, you know.
Okay.
I truly believe that I don't think we're alone like this, you know. I really don't think we're alone. What do you think?
Okay, when it comes to aliens, right? I believe so. Do you know that in one of the latest news, as reported by CNN, the Pentagon actually admitted the existence of UFOs. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, like things they saw in the sky that is unexplainable. Like you can't explain why is it behaving that way, why is it flying that way, and random debris don't suddenly change course.
True. And these topics, they really intrigue me because usually when we talk about paranormal activity or extraterrestrial activity, right, you often would come across, you know, like maybe like they'll say that they saw maybe light orbs, you know, and these orbs they travel so fast, but there's no sound. They can suddenly be so bright, you know, and then they can suddenly just disappear. So how do you explain that? You know, that there is no explanation. So that's why I won't discount the fact that we are alone. I don't think we are.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can actually look it up right now. The U.S. military actually released some footage of UFOs captured from jet fighters. Yeah, you can actually see them. So they actually recorded videos of it, and yeah, I believe there's something out there, but I think the reason why we can't like they still haven't made any contact with us is I believe there's several reasons. One of the reasons is do you know what is the concept of invasive species?
No, I've never heard of it.
Okay, so like let's say some fauna or flora that's native to Malaysia, okay, our country, Malaysia. So if you brought in certain animals or certain plants from another side of the country into Malaysia, and then because of the way that the animal or the plant behave, it end up destroying the ecosystem of the of Malaysia. Like let's say there's a parasitic plant that eats on all the existing plant, like that sucks all the nutrients and all the life source from all the plants in Malaysia. But the reason why you don't see that killing all the plants in the other country is because they have natural predator. Maybe there's like a type of bird or a type of insects that eats that parasitic plant that keep the parasitic plant at bay. But because you introduce it to Malaysia, but Malaysia doesn't have any natural predators for that parasitic plant, and then in the end that parasitic plant end up killing all the, because there's no natural predators, so then it will just keep growing and growing and growing, and then end up destroying the entire ecosystem of Malaysia. Like when one tree goes down, then the birds who live in the tree have no home to stay in, and then the birds will die, and then when the birds die, then the snakes die, you know, that kind of thing.
So it's like each ecosystem have their own regulation, they have their own regulatory system, you know.
So,
okay.
So just imagine us as one of the animals that's in an ecosystem. If aliens came to our country, our world, and introduced us to the concept of maybe their understanding of the world or the universe, maybe we will develop certain knowledge or ideas that weren't even meant for, like we weren't even ready to begin with, and then we end up destroying everything in the solar system.
Yeah, I completely agree with your point.
Yeah, like,
you know, perhaps we're not making any contact because they probably think that we're not even at their level.
Yeah, we're not even at the level yet. So it's like they're just
we can't even perceive what they're trying to convey to us.
Yeah.
They simply can't convey to us because it's just like how are we able to talk to ants? You know,
exactly.
Will ants understand us?
Exactly.
We don't.
Can you imagine you give ants the power of fire?
Yeah.
They're gonna end up burning themselves and other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine you give ants the power of fire? Yeah.
And you know how ant colonies are actually bigger than some countries itself, you know? I mean, racial wise.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why maybe aliens felt that this is still too very primitive. Like for us, we might think that we're really advanced with so many technologies and so many so many things that we think our life is really great, but who knows, to the aliens they might think that this species is still we're still savages, and because we're still fighting for oil, for things that we dig out of the ground, and we're still killing each other over primitive ideas and things like that. So maybe they feel that we're not ready for it, you know. That's why they haven't made contact. Yeah,
that is crazy, you know, because when we're talking about all this, right, it's really a matter of perception, you know, because we only have us humans that, you know, thrived for so long as the only yardstick reference, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
We completely have no other reference to other civilizations, other worldly civilizations, you know?
Yeah.
So naturally we would think that the humans are the most advanced species on Earth, which we are, but only in this universe, on this plane, you know?
And who knows? Maybe we are using radio waves, and we are using like all this satellite to communicate with each other, right? So maybe the aliens, they themselves discover something else more advanced than radio waves or satellite to communicate with each other. Maybe they themselves don't even have a physical form. Maybe they themselves travel in waves, like they just travel through space and time without a physical form, and they just go around and look at things because
they're in another plane, you know. They might be 60, 70, you know, stuff like that.
Exactly. They might be so advanced that they don't even take a physical form anymore, and then they just travel in waves. That's why we can't even detect them, right? Like, can you imagine ants? Like, no, not ants, like a fish that has not been out of the water. The fish will always feel like how fast I can swim there, how fast I can like move myself from one spot to another. Like the fish can never comprehend there is a plane, there is a train, there is a rocket, you know?
Yeah.
Like fish will never comprehend the concept of rockets.
For me, you know, I think the concept is sort of like this, you know. Maybe, you know how that us humans, our eyes, right, we're only limited to a certain amount of colors that we can see, right?
Yep.
So we there's no way that we can know what are the other colors.
Exactly.
If you think about it now, can you know what's the other color that we've never seen? It's impossible.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like aliens there. Maybe they're sort of like that. You know, we can't perceive it, but we know that there might be something like that. You know, you will not entirely say that they don't exist just because I don't see it. You know?
Yeah.
Crazy, bro.
So that's why the concept of the aliens, right? Like, I believe there's actually a lot of different reasons why we haven't made contact. But I do believe, like you, there is something out there actually.
Yeah, I do believe that. You know. So anyway, let's not sidetrack too much.
Yeah.
And let's come back to our ghost stories, okay? So yeah,
I remember you told me when you went to Sabah, you met a friend that had a lot of ghost stories. Maybe you can tell me one of those?
Oh yeah. Okay, so I have a friend. He's from the east. You know, he's a Sabahan, and that's just, I don't know, man. Every Sabahan friend that I know, they have a good ghost story to tell. Somehow, maybe, I don't know, maybe entities like to live in Sabah because I don't know. You know. So okay, so one of my friends, he's called Linus.
Okay.
He's a very nice guy, you know, and he always tells these all sorts of wild stories, you know. So whenever he shares about his ghost stories, his paranormal encounters, I get really intrigued and curious about it, and we can literally talk about it for hours. So one of the story that he told me, I couldn't forget it. Okay, so my friend Linus, I think he was on his way to visit his grandma.
Okay.
His grandma resides in a more of a kampong, you know, I think more of an outskirt kind of a place. So
it's like a village, very rural village.
Out of town, you know, back roads, you know, so there's a lot of trees and stuff. Okay, so he was going to his grandma's place. Okay, and he was seated in a Range Rover. Okay, so you know how some Range Rovers, they have all the sunroof, right?
Yeah.
Which can be requested open. So my friend was just chilling at the back seat, you know. He's just chilling, you know, until when he looked to his right in the pitch darkness because he was on his way on the back roads.
Wait, he's chilling like out
in the car. No, sorry, in the car.
In the car, okay.
In the car. So he took a peek on the right because he felt like there's something staring at him.
Okay.
So when he looked to his right, he literally deadass told me that he saw a floating head floating alongside the car.
A floating head floating alongside the car.
Floating alongside the car as the car traveled. So my friend Linus, he just ignored it because he has many experiences like this. So he's just like, oh, you know what, fuck it, it's just one of the many experiences, right?
Okay.
So when he decided to look up because his sunroof was open, he saw the head fly over the car. And then that's when my friend got really freaked out and shook. So
wait, the head was flying over the car, like the head wasn't like on the car, but it's just flying.
Just flying a lot.
Across the car.
Yeah, he literally fly over the roof. So Linus, I think he consulted, I think his friends or someone who knows about these things, and he said that in Sabah, right? Don't be surprised that in some villages there are still all those bomo, as in witches, you know.
Okay.
And these witches at night, right? What they do is that they'll just confine themselves in a dark place.
Okay.
And then they'll detach their head to travel around the forest to hunt for something. I don't know what is it that they're hunting for. So Linus told me why is the head following the car? It's because the head has lost its way and it needs a guidance because the car has lights on it, correct?
Yep.
So when the witch has found its way, finally, so that's when the witch's head has departed, and that's when they separate ways.
So actually they are not harmful, they're just using you as a guidance to find their way home or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're harmless or not. It really depends on what the witch's intention during the time is.
I guess they're like humans, like when humans, there are good people, there are bad people. I mean, there are people who robbed you when you're vulnerable. There are people who helped you when you're vulnerable. You know, just like anybody you meet on the streets. So I guess it's the same, right?
I guess maybe these are people with special bond powers, you know, but that may not necessarily mean that they're evil by default, you know.
So
it's just one of the many wild tales which I can happily share more later.
Okay. Let me tell you another story that I have experienced.
I'm waiting.
Okay, so back then we used to go Cameron Highlands a lot. So there was this house that I went with some.
Wait, hold on. This house is in Cameron Highlands.
Yes, it's in Cameron Highlands. So basically, we were like planning a trip to Cameron Highlands, and we were thinking like, why don't we rent like a villa, like a bungalow, that has a yard and can live, like how to say, can have like live up to a few people, like maybe a few rooms, maybe like 2 or 3 rooms. Then like we all can share rooms together and you know, have BBQ outside, because Cameron Highlands is pretty breezy, right? So we ended up we ended up at this place that is owned by, that it used to own by a Dutch man in the 70s or 60s, I don't remember. Yeah, but so this,
I assume it's the colonization period lah.
No, this is post-colonization already. The house seems pretty modern.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think it's in the 60s.
So,
but the Dutchman is already gone. Like, he's no longer around, of course. So when we went to visit the place.
Hold on, Kenneth. How do you guys know it was owned by a Dutch person?
Okay, so the housekeeper actually told us the history of the house. Right. Yeah, okay. So actually we still see a lot of like colonial era items, like some artifacts from the colonial era in the house. So what the housekeeper actually said was that he he tried to preserve it the way that it was. So first of all, the entrance, when we arrived at the place, the entrance of the place was really, really hidden. Like, you wouldn't know there's a road up to the mountain. If you didn't know there's a road there. How hidden it is? Yeah, how hidden it is? Yeah, is imagine you yourself going downhill, and then at the end of the hill, like, it's a short downhill. It's not a long downhill. It's just a short downhill. At the end of the hill is a hairpin curve, that curve to the left.
So it's a really sharp left, I assume.
It's a hairpin curve, that curve to the left. Like, just imagine a hairpin curve, like just at the end of the slope, hairpin curve to the left. So when you reach to the end of the hairpin, like the bottom of the slope, right, you will naturally turn left, right? Correct?
Yeah.
But we turn right.
Okay. Yeah. It sounds like a counterintuitive thing to do.
Exactly. Like when you're going downhill, and then all you see is the road curving to the left, like the hairpin curve to the left. But actually, you don't turn left, you turn right. And then actually, there's a hairpin curve to the right that is all covered by bushes and trees.
Bro, it sounded like an Initial D race.
Yeah, but that's the only part that is because it's so hidden, because the road was because first it was a slope going downhill and then hairpin turn to the left, but then you turn to the right. Actually, there's a hairpin turn to the right that you can't see because it's all blocked by the bushes and trees. And then when it curved to the right, also I guess it's one of the reasons why you can't see it, because immediately when it curved to the right, it goes uphill.
What? It sounds like a maze, bro.
So it just go uphill because the road is above you, so you can't see it. So it curves to the right and then you go uphill. And then when you go uphill, immediately it became like a horror movie. You know how when the horror movie characters, when they first got to the house, they see all the trees and leaves on the floor of the on the path, and then both sides of very eerie. Both sides of the trees of the road are just dead trees or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So when we end up,
it looks like a Hollywood production there and then.
So then when we end up at the house itself, the middle of the house entrance was a tree, was a massive tree, but not in the middle of the house. The in front of the house, like, because there's a roundabout, right? Like when you reach the house already, in front of the house there's a roundabout, but in the middle of the roundabout there's a big massive tree. A
really huge tree.
Yeah. So I see that I don't see much of the tree, but it was a bit peculiar for me. But I don't think much of it. The other friends of mine, literally said that the trees were filled with faces.
Faces again? Wow.
Yeah, like they were literally filled with faces. Like you can literally see faces in the trees. So I didn't notice much of it back then.
Okay.
Yeah, but according to my friends, they saw faces in the trees, right? Okay, so we didn't say anything about the trees. We just proceed to move on into the house.
Yeah.
So when we moved to the house, the house seems really special. I mean, of course, it's a colonial house. It's supposed to look some.
You have some
charm to it. Yeah, but something just feels not right in the house, and yeah, and according to another one of my friends, he was supposed to go into a room, right, to go check out the bedrooms that we're supposed to sleep in.
Yeah.
And just for some reason, he couldn't. He when he wants to go into the room, he just couldn't go in. He just stopped.
Wait, he couldn't go in because of a physical distraction, or was something in the way?
Like something's mentally blocking him from going into the room.
Wow.
Yeah, like he can't move. He literally told me he can't move. Like something just paralyzed him.
Dude, I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Like he just got paralyzed. And he can't move. He can't go back either now. He just can't go back either. He just stuck.
Oh god.
Yeah, he's just stuck. And then
so you found him in that state?
No, another friend of mine, there was two of them. Another friend of mine found him and said, "Hey, why aren't you going into the room?"
Oh.
And he wants to go into the room too. And he himself got stuck as well.
So there's two person that is just stuck there.
Yeah, like they both stuck. Like something literally is holding the both of them back, and it's like they're staring into the room, and something is in the room staring back at them.
Oh man!
And I remember one of the friends told me that maybe what was stopping them was there's a picture in the middle of the room of it's a big picture. It's not a small picture. It's actually quite a huge painted picture. It's a painted picture of Mother Mary holding baby Jesus, and they believe that is the thing that was holding them back and paralyzing them.
When you mentioned Mother Mary and baby Jesus, right? You know the first thing you will think of is paintings like this are meant to bring this kind of a divine feeling.
Yeah, like
a feeling of holiness.
Holiness.
But in contrast, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
In Cantonese, there's a word. It's called very chair.
Yeah, like you wouldn't like they're not malevolent. Like you don't feel that they are bad spirits, but you feel that they are just angry because you're there.
Because you're invading their space.
Yeah, you're invading their space. So what happened in the end was I who is the one who didn't feel anything. I give a smack on one of my friend's shoulders. I'm like, "Hey guys, why are you guys standing here?" And then I just went into the room.
Oh god! Did anything happen to you in the room?
So actually nothing happened to me. I don't know. I don't know why I was quite clueless during the trip back then, and and yeah, when I smacked them, they just woke up. When I smacked them on the shoulder, and then they okay, I'm not going into the room. They just walked away.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm the only one in the room.
Yeah. So like aside from that room itself, right? What more eerie things that you guys found in the house?
Okay, so there was this time I went to the outside of the house. This is at the back of the house now. So the back of the house is actually facing a mountain. Actually a mountain range actually. It's not just one mountain, it's a mountain range. And the scene looks very serene, very peaceful. But you feel that you are not alone. First of all, you know how a lot of resorts or even malls you find latokongs in the
Yes.
yeah. So for those who doesn't know, latokongs are just altars on the floor that literal that I mean for Chinese superstition, it is for you to keep the venue safe from bad spirits. Like the latokongs is the guardian of your premise. He will be the one warding off the good, I mean the bad lucks, and will welcome the good lucks or something like that. Yeah, like
the land, I guess.
Yeah, they're like a spiritual guardian for the land,
Yeah.
for the place. And the first thing I noticed when I got out of the house to the back of the house is notice the Tokong altar was trash.
Trash, as in it's
Yeah.
not well cared, or
It's literally trash. Like someone actually like go in and destroy everything.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's not messy, you know. It's trashed. It's
You can tell very obviously it's
Yeah,
done with bad
like-
intentions.
like no one would keep their place of worship in that kind of situation.
Right.
Even if it's messy, you know there's some kind of order there, right? But there was no order on the altar, and you know the autocons is not respected lah at that place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Ken, when you mentioned about the Latokong destroyed, right?
Mhm.
It reminds me of those, like Conjuring or the kind of movie where all the crosses are turned upside down.
oh
You know,
my god, yeah.
How something so holy, when it's represented in a very evil fashion,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
can be really scary. Because from what I know in demonology is that how to say a reverse cross
Mhm.
is like an insult to the three holy ghosts.
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
So then what happened was and then there was benches outside of the house. So what happened was the benches to the far right, you feel like someone is sitting on that bench and looking back at us.
Oh man.
Yeah, you because I don't know, like you know how it feels when someone is staring at you, right?
Yeah, you naturally even when you're in public, right? When you're on your phone, and it's sometimes you just catch a glimpse of somebody looking at you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
exactly that. Because you feel like they're feeding you this kind of energy.
Exactly.
You know?
So you feel that someone is looking back at you from that bench. I felt that, like even that I felt that. So then after that, when we got back into the house, then we talked to each other. Are we staying in this house? And I don't think so.
Fuck you, man.
Yeah, like after when we left the place. I mean, of course, we forfeit our deposit and we just left the place. They don't want to
Yeah.
stay in the house. While we're on the car, then they were all talking about the experiences lah. They were sharing what happened to each of us, and there was this one specific area of the house I didn't even bother going to, because what I like to do when I go to a holiday and find a new place is to explore every inch of the place. I like to go everywhere to go explore and see
Okay.
what I can find. But there was this part of the house I didn't bother going in. Then I wondered, then I wondered, why did I not go in? I went into several of the rooms. I went to outside of the
Yeah.
house, but I didn't go into that particular area with the toilet and the back room, like a maid's room like that.
A toilet. So it's like a maid's. So it's like they're near each other. The toilet.
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
maid's.
next to each other. So I didn't go into that
Okay.
particular part of the house.
Right.
And then one of my friend's dad told us that particular part of the house is particularly dark and eerie, and he felt that I guess my friend's dad was also a bit spiritually inclined. He told
Okay.
us that there may have been someone who hanged themselves there.
Oh
and-
god.
Yeah, and their spirit was still there. And I think my friend's dad have like a third eye, he could see.
Mhm.
So he told us that he caught a glimpse of like something hanging there in the toilet. So
Oh,
yeah, it is it is really disturbing. And
oh man.
Yeah, he literally stopped all of us from going into the toilet or going into that room. Yeah.
Oh, that is so fucked up.
Yeah, and that was our first experience of the house. We actually went back to the house several years later.
Oh, I think it's just a fun trip just to revisit the place, right?
Yeah, so we actually went back to the place out there, to the place at the house.
So did anything change?
Okay, so here's the kicker. I think the first time we went was many years ago. I really don't remember how many years was that.
Okay.
But we went back to the house, I think 4 or 5 years later. Yeah, during one of our Cameron Highland trips, and one of my friends who was with me during that first time had the bright idea of saying, "Hey, you know what? Let's go back to the house and see what's happening, what's going on to the house." I'm like, oh my god! Like after all that experience, and
it's a bad idea.
Yeah, and you're still thinking about going back there. I'm like, that everyone has no qualms of going back there, and this time there was no adults in the group, right? Like we're just all kids. Yeah, I mean, we can say we're all adults now because we were like 25, 26 when we went back the second time.
Right.
Because the first time I think it was when we were 19 or 20 years old. So
yeah, we're still teenagers.
Yeah, we were still teenagers, so that's why we have adults back then. But now we don't have adults. We're 26 years old. We are the adults.
So you guys are jackasses.
Yeah.
Crazy shit.
So, and what makes things worse is that one of my other friends who went with us the second time is a non-believer. Like he doesn't believe in all these things, and and my friend who went with me during the first time challenged him and say, "Why don't I bring you back to this house that we experienced all these things from, and then you tell us what you experienced?" Yeah, and when we went back there, the second time, it was daytime. It was daytime, and when we go back, I mean, I expect the gate to be closed, right? Because there might be people staying in the house. There might be like people like renting out the house, right?
So refurbished and stuff like that.
No, there might be like occupants in the house, and they might saw random cars driving up to their house. They might like, "Who are you?" Like, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I thought the house gate would be closed, but when we got there, the gate wasn't closed.
It's waiting for you guys. You'll be back.
And we drove them up. We drove up to the gate, and we went uphill again. We went up to the very scary path. And you know what happened? That house was abandoned.
Like literally, it's not up for occupancy. It's not up for rent. It's just
it's like an empty place, abandoned. The doors were gone. The windows were gone.
What time of day was it when you guys decided to revisit?
This was 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, I think.
Oh, so it's close to darkness already, lah.
It was not darkness yet. I think it was evening, around evening time. Yeah. So when we reached there, the house was abandoned. Like literally, there was no more caretaker of the house. There were no more like people that like devoid of human life, and you see the door was gone. The windows were smashed, and all the furnitures inside were gone. So yeah, the house was totally abandoned. Like, can you imagine why would the house be abandoned?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like,
you know,
if you can rent out the house, like what the caretaker used to tell us during our first trip there, like there's no reason for it to be abandoned. The house is going for like 2 or 3K or 4K per night. It's a whole house. And yeah, and if you're making that much money, why would you abandon it?
Because they're unwelcome visitors.
So
you know, I was thinking, right? If you guys ever came across the caretaker again, I do believe he has many stories to tell.
Yeah, but I guess the caretaker wouldn't want, because I guess the caretaker also don't want to let us know certain things, because
Yeah.
It's pretty gnarly. Yeah.
Who knows what went down? You know, that
Yeah.
kind of a thing. Man.
So then, when we were there, our friends went in to the house.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they went into the abandoned house. They say all the windows were smashed, all the mirrors were smashed, except for one particular mirror, which is in the room that my friends were held back at. Like they were literally paralyzed at the room, at the doorway of that room.
Yeah.
But inside now, during our second visit to the place, that particular room have a mirror in it and that is the only mirror or only glass in the whole house that's not shattered.
And does it look dusty, or is it clean, or is it dusty?
The whole place was quite a mess lah, because no one was there to upkeep it.
Because I'm thinking, like, if the mirror is very clean and spotless and unshattered, honestly, that is a huge cue to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
You know?
So I mean, these are all the stories they are telling us when they come back to us, because though, I mean, me and another friend of mine who have experienced it once, we never went down from our car. We just let them go down from the car, and we just let them go and explore the house. And after they finished exploring the house, we went to town in Cameron Highlands, and we sat down at a Starbucks and we discussed about the experiences. All those who went into the house complained that they all have headaches.
Oh man, really?
Yeah, they all had a headache, and they all need some fresh air. It's like, I guess when there's a huge pressure coming under you, you would feel some symptoms like headaches or nauseous or shortness of breath, you know, that kind of feeling. Yeah, so they complain that they have headaches in the house. I mean, after they come out from the house, they have all these symptoms of being under pressure.
Oh man. You know, another thing I think is that maybe it's all self-inflicted, because because you know that the place is scary, you know that there might be something there, so you're very tense, you know. So when you get out of the situation, maybe the headache was a side effect of that.
Okay, so that's exactly one of the friends said, because we went with 3 new friends that we have not that was not with us during the first time there. But these 3 guys, one of them said, you know what, I still don't believe this shit, because maybe this is like a psychological thing. One person felt it and everyone felt it, you know, that kind of thing. So they don't believe it, they still don't believe it. And then my friend who went with me the first time said, you know what, you guys think you're so smart ass, let us go there at night this time.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
At night.
At night, yes. So but before we went up there at night, we went to another place called the Mozzie Forest.
Oh man, the Mozzie Forest.
Yeah, so
I personally I've never been there.
Okay,
but I've seen photos of the place. It's quite nice actually.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice place. Actually, Mozzie Forest is a tourist attraction on Cameron Highlands. So it's actually a pretty popular place that a lot of people go to. But the problem with the place is that it's pretty high up in the mountains, and during rainy seasons it can get pretty dangerous. And the reason why it's dangerous because it's fog. There's a very thick fog, and
I think it's caused by the moss itself.
Yeah, so the fog is very thick, and you can barely see like few steps ahead of you. That kind of thick, you know. So it can get really dangerous because you might step over a ridge, and then you might fall over, and then you will like, it's very hard for people to help you up there, because first of all there's no line, then second of all it's in the middle of a jungle and it's so high up the mountain.
I can't believe you guys actually went to do all this shit. That is,
so
you know, it's dangerous, but honestly it's a tale to tell.
Exactly. So I just tagged along the group, man. The group decides to go, and then I can't say no, be the only one who sits in town, right? So now we know why when we're on the way up to the Mozzie Forest, we know why they arrange special vehicles for us to take us up there because the road was excruciatingly bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like how bad it was for literally 4-wheel drive bad.
Oh shit, what cars were you guys in during that time?
So we went up there in 2 cars. One is a Honda HRV and then another one is a Mercedes E-Class.
Oh man, I think the HRV should be okay.
HRV is still okay, but actually HRV is still not considered like a people will say it's like a crossover, but it's literally not that useful in that kind of environment because those are literally full 4-wheel drive environments. But thank God we actually drove up all the way up there. We made it with a lot of scratches on the car, but we made it. We made it up there, and because when we are driving up to the Mozzie Forest, right, it was already like what 5-6 p.m. in the day, and it's almost sunset, right? But by the time we got up there, it's like 7 p.m. already. It took us an hour to go up there, and it's almost dark. Yeah, it's very dark already, and you know what makes things worse? The fog was so thick that you can barely see a few steps ahead of you. And we drove up there. Yeah, the fog was really thick.
Night, you know, where it's cold and where all the fog will be even more apparent.
And the road up there was so dangerous because the road was only wide enough for 1 car.
Oh man.
And the road is a 2-way road.
Oh man, that it must be really narrow then.
To add to the scenario, one part of the road is a ridge that goes upwards. One part of the road was the ridge, and it just go all the way down. Like you don't know how far it goes down because the fog was covering everything, but you can't see the bottom because of the fog.
Oh my god, I would be so stressed in that situation.
I was stressed, and I really applaud my friends who drove up there in the HRV and the Mercedes E-Class. Like they literally like
if I'm not already scared to death by spirits, I'll be stressed to death by the rich.
Yeah, like one part of the road is a mountain that goes all the way up, and then another part of the road is a ridge that go all the way down. Like it's a ravine. You don't even know how far it goes down because of the fog.
Yeah.
So
it could mean certain.
Yeah, so we went all the way up there, and by the time we got up there, it's almost dark. 7:30, like around 7:30, like that. So you can imagine how dark it is.
Very dark already.
Yeah. So, but we couldn't get all the way up there. We got almost up there, and then it was closed off by some barricades. Yeah.
Okay.
The government actually put some barricades up there to stop us from going further.
Right.
And there's a signboard say, due to monsoon season, the Mozzie Forest was closed off because it is dangerous, right, to go up there during monsoon season. So it was closed off. So we just stopped our car, and thank God there was a wide enough space for us to stop our car next to the road. And yeah, it was really dark now, and the only thing we can see is the headlights of our car and the lights of our car. The inside light of our car. That's the only lights within miles.
That means it's literally pitch black with fog then.
Yeah. So.
Oh man.
So my friend who don't believe in the thing got challenged by my friend who went with me the first time and say, okay, now maybe you guys maybe you guys journey on foot to go up to the Mozzie Forest. Yeah, they journey on foot.
They literally did that?
Yeah, they literally did that. And
wow,
we got out of the car. I was already scared shitless by the environment. Come on, it's cold. It's foggy. Misty, and it's dark.
Like Silent Hill,
and it's dark. It's dark. Yeah. It's not even bright. Like if it's bright, you see the fog, you won't feel so tense. You know, if it's dark. So they went down. They journey on foot. So I stayed in the car the whole time. I didn't even dare to come out of the car. And one of my friends who went with me the first time, flashed his headlight as because it's 3 groups lah. So there were 6 of us. So 3 of us stayed behind, and 3 of them walked on foot to continue further to see if they can see anything. So when they went into the forest, they would, as they journey up, one of the because they journey in a line, right? Because it's such a thick fog, you can't see in front of you. So you have to journey in a line, and then like everyone hold each other's hands so you don't get lost. Like, we are not scary movie stupid. We actually take precautions. Yeah, like we hold each other's hands so all of us don't get lost. And
in Hollywood, you know, they'll be dispersed in three or 4 different directions by now.
Yeah. So they hold each other's hand. The first guy felt that he saw a headlight. He saw a street lamp in front of him at the end of the fog.
Okay.
So he naturally tried to walk towards the lamp lah, you know?
Yeah.
But according to him, the lamp just didn't get closer. Yeah, like the street, like you literally see like a figure resembling a street lamp, but as you walk towards it and you keep walking towards it, but it doesn't get closer, you know?
Oh man, it's like stuck in a limbo.
Yeah. So then another friend. So from my side of the expedition, as they went in, they disappeared, right? So because the fog was thick, so when they were walking in for the first few minutes, we can still see them like some distance, but we can still see like shades of them. And then when they continue to walk in, they disappear into the fog. We can't see them anymore. So one of my friends decided to turn on the headlights, the high beam, to see whether he can see them, because it is so foggy we can't see them, right? So we try to turn on the high beam and see whether we can see them or not. So he flashes the high beam 3 times. On the 3rd time, after he finished flashing the high beam, he honked the car to get them to ask them to come back quickly, you know, that kind of. Yeah. So naturally he saw something, so he say, "Guys, quickly come back." So yeah, like he literally saw something. So he honked the car.
So this guy, he saw something, but what was it that he saw?
I'll get into that later, but yeah, actually, maybe, you know what, I'll tell you guys now. He saw a black shade following them into the fog.
Oh my god!
Like you know the fog,
like a shadow.
Yeah, like a very defined black shade of a human shape followed them into the fog. I mean, I didn't see it because I was hiding myself in the car and I was scared shitless already. I don't dare to even come out of the car. Yeah, I was just hiding in the car. I don't dare to come out because, you know, horror movies, like, you don't get out of the freaking car, man.
No matter what the fuck it is, man.
Yeah, like when something goes wrong, you just go get into the driver's seat and drive off, man. So he saw a black shade follow them, so he quickly honked, and then surprisingly, my friends didn't hear the honk.
Okay, judging by the distance, would they have heard it? It should be, right, since it's so quiet.
It was a bit tough to. I guess it was a bit tough also because to tell how far they are already, because the fog was so thick. Then, fortunately, on the 3rd time, they hear a slight hint of the honk. Okay. And then he hear us screaming because my friend was literally shouting at them, asking them to come back, shouting into the fog lah, like, guys, please come back, like, you know, that kind of thing. And he hear us screaming at them. So they looked at each other, and then the lead guy who saw the headlamp felt that since the street lamp wasn't getting any closer, he just, you know, guys, let's just turn around. Then we decided to turn around. And when he, you know, it is a tree line, right? like they walk in a line, so they when they turn around, they naturally like turn around in a line also.
Yes.
And the last guy said that he saw a black shadow. I guess it's the same black shadow that my friend saw as they're walking back, and he saw the black shadow just standing behind them, like not next to him, behind, like there's some distance behind, like maybe
just looming over them.
Yeah, like 10 meters behind, like something like that. The black shadow, he saw a black shadow behind them.
Oh,
like the whole thing is literally black. Like you know, it's a fog. It's supposed to be like a bit grayish, right? But it's a black shadow.
And you know, if you can see a shadow amongst the fog, it's very obvious to see that it's something.
It's very defined.
It's very defined on top of that even. You know?
So yeah, then they came back to the car, and some of their faces was pale white. And I don't know whether if they were scared of the getting lost, or they saw something and they got really scared, but they were white. So what happened was we quickly got back into our car because it's late now. We try to go have dinner, and so we all got back into our car, right? And surprise, I don't know, for some reason, because they were used how we used to sit is 4-person sit in the Mercedes and 2-person sit in the HRV. So me and another friend in the HRV, and then 4-person in the E-Class. So for some reason, one of the friend came and sit with us in the HRV, so it's now 3 of us in the HRV, and supposedly it's supposed to be 3 of them in the E-Class, right? So I saw everybody got in the car, right?
Okay.
So everybody got into the car. We turned around as we were about to leave the place. Then I looked to my right, I saw someone standing at the far edge of the bush. I'm like, holy shit! My first time seeing a ghost. I'm like, fuck me. Let's quickly get out of here. I quickly tapped on the shoulder of my friend who's the driver, like, let's fucking get out of here, let's go. And then my friend stopped and looked at the side and saw the same guy standing at the side at the far corner in the bushes, and then he's like, who's that? And I'm like, I don't fucking care, let's just get out of here. And then the guy turned around and walked towards us, you know. I'm like, oh my god, you don't drive away this instant, I'm gonna punch you in the face. He's walking towards us. You wanna get out of here or not?
Yeah.
So as he walked closer and closer and closer, I'm like, scared shitless lah. And then my friend is not even driving. It's just
why isn't he moving though?
Yeah, I don't know why he's not moving. But maybe he's like curious lah. Like, what's this? It's moving towards us. He wants to find out, you know. And then you know what? It is actually one of our friends.
Wait, I thought everyone got into the car already.
Yeah, that's the thing. I thought everyone got in the car.
You saw that everyone got into their own cars.
Exactly, and it was our friend. Because the fog was, I don't know, maybe it's the fog that was clouding our vision. We can't see our friend properly. That way, when he got close enough, we saw his face and everything. I'm like, wait a second, what? Aren't you in the E-Class? I saw you got into the E-Class. And then his face was pale white. He literally like went into a different dimension and came back, that kind of look, you know. And he got into our car for a brief second. We asked him, let's get into our car and let's quickly get out of here. Yeah. Then he just stood there and he just looked at us. He didn't say anything. And then I'm like, get in the fucking car, you know. And then he's still standing at us, looking at us.
Oh man.
And then he didn't say anything, and then he just slowly walked to the E-Class, got into the E-Class, and then we called our friend who's driving the E-Class, like, hey, did our friend just hop into your car or something like that? They're like, yeah, he just got into the car. Okay, let's just drive. Then we left that place. So when we are driving off from the Mozzie Forest, we try to call our friend in the E-Class, say, how many people are there in your car right now? It's like,
yeah.
There's 3%. Then okay, there's 3% here in our car also. So we double confirm everybody. Okay, we have all the head counts. Okay, let's just leave. So the strange part is, who did I saw entering into the E-Class in the first place? Yeah, like the door literally popped open, and the door popped open and closed. Who went in?
Like, let me tell you, like, I guess in a state of panic, I guess a lot of things can be disillusions. It's crazy because everything was so chaotic at one moment, because everyone was panicking. Everyone was out of their mind. So I guess you would see things that maybe your mind conjured up. And I think that's when accidents happen.
Yeah.
If you guys have left already, your friend would still be in the Mozzie forest.
Yeah, exactly. He would be a missing person, man. So that's why it's so dangerous to be in a fog and to be in a strange environment. And it's so confusing. Everything is very confusing. And when we went to the restaurant and we discussed what happened, he said that he saw something very peculiar when he was trying to get into the car. It distracted him, and he went over to have a look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
and that's the reason why he did not get into the car.
Yeah, and he went to that particular area, and he said there's this patch of land in the ground because it was monsoon, right? So there was fog, there was wind, so the wind was blowing over some of the bushes. But then this particularly patch of land was swaying in the wind in slow motion.
What?
Yeah, like
so it defies law of physics.
Yeah, like everywhere around it was swaying with the wind. Like there was some it's natural lah. Like there's some kind of speed. The thing was flapping in the wind. The leaves were flailing in the wind. The branches were flailing in the wind. So he said that there was this particular patch of land that was not following the same speed as the other how to say? Yeah, as the other places. So he went over and have a look.
And that's when he got left behind.
Yeah, we almost left him behind.
It seems that, like an entity is messing with him, Yeah. It distracted him, and then maybe God knows what happened if he was really left behind. Can you imagine?
Exactly, because I saw 3% in the car. I thought everyone is inside the vehicle already. So it shocked me when I saw him in the bushes, walking towards us. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And it's so foggy, you can't really tell who is that person. And you just saw the shade walking towards you. I'm like, holy fuck, we're fucked this time. So yeah, that wasn't the end of the story. So as we were driving out for the Mozzie forest, we try to call each other because it was an E-Class and a HRV, right? So we try to call, and every time we try to talk about that particular moment where we were trying to get our friend into the car, like we saw our friend in the bushes, the line just cut off.
Oh man.
Yeah,
so would you say that experience just adds on to the fact that something is messing with you guys? Would you say that?
How I don't know how you even explain it. Like the line was, as soon as we got to that part, we want to talk about that part, and then the line just got really bad and then it cut off.
Oh.
So we try to call each other again 3 times. 3 times we try to do that, it gets cut off straight away. So
you guys just had to go to the Mozzie forest, don't you?
Yeah, initially we thought it was just bad reception, but we just found this pattern, like whenever we just want to talk about that topic, we just get cut off. So after that, we when we got to the restaurant, we talk about it in person. Yeah, then holy shit, man.
I'm glad you guys actually made out of it alive.
Oh, that wasn't the end. We still have the house to go to.
Oh wait, so you guys, this is before going into the house. All this shitstorm already happened.
All this shitstorm already happened, but We still want to go to the house.
You guys sojourn onto the house.
And then my friend who's already pale white in color, the non-believer, he's already pale white in color. It's like, you know what? I don't want you going back into KL and say, you know what? It's all a psychological thing.
Fugazi.
Yeah, it's all fugazi. It's all in the mind. And then I don't want you to say that. We're gonna go to the house again. Yeah. So after dinner, we went back to the house, and yeah, it was exceptionally scary when you go to the house at night, because when you turn up that hill, it was pitch black.
Wow.
Because there was no light. There was no light. There was no light in the house. There were no light in the streets. It was just pitch black. And then when we got to the front of the house, holy shit, that thing just turned up a notch, man. Like the inside the house was pitch darkness, like just black in color inside our house.
Oh man.
And I just sat in the car and like, you know what, guys? You guys go right in. I'm just gonna stay here in the car. I'm not even gonna look into the house. I'm just gonna stare into my phone.
Who was with you in the car?
I was alone. Everyone went down.
Everyone went. Oh, okay.
And another one of my friend was in the E class. He stayed in the car as well. I stayed in the car. So two of us stayed in the car, but we stayed in separate cars. And four of them went in.
Oh man.
Yeah, and when they went in, I can't see them at all.
I gotta applaud them though, because for me, I would never go into the house.
Yeah,
you know?
and
number one, because it's not because of concerns about being scared. It's really about concerns about your life.
Yeah,
you know, anything could happen.
But then they turn on their flashlights on their phone, and then I can see some lights in the house. But I can't still properly see them. So I just stay in the car, and then I just wait for them to go do their own exploration. And one of my friends, you know what? Use your phone and record the front of the house. Maybe we'll see something in the recording. Yeah. So they recorded the front of the house, and we got back to the hotel. We reviewed the recording, and then I'm not sure if you saw the recording, but the recording had a lot of children, had a lot of people.
I think I've seen it.
At the door of the house. Do you see the figures?
I look at the photos of it. There's a tree.
Yeah, there's a tree.
There are faces on the tree. That I can really confirm with you because I've seen it.
Yeah.
And on the roof of the house, there are faces as well. Yeah.
Yeah, on the roof of the house, on the doorstep, on the there were literally faces everywhere in the video. So it's like we were just
shut up. You know, just to emphasize of how real this thing is. I just want to let everyone know that I honestly, after hearing all these things, right, like, you know, or seeing faces in the photo, that kind of thing, I always thought of it as bullshit. But when you really see something like that, and that you have no explanation for it, that's when you know that, you know, that they might be really there, and they might be real. So what I saw really was quite scary. Faces in the front, faces in the roof. Yeah, I wish that our listeners could see it if you guys are interested, because it's like mind-blowing in the same time.
It is. So that was one of the scariest moment in the
in your life.
Yeah, like I literally see it for the first time, and then after that my friend became a believer. From a non-believer he became a believer.
I guess you gotta throw them into a situation.
Yeah. And just to add one more story to the mix while we're still talking on this topic. So I have this friend, right? My mom, my friend's mom. We call her Auntie Ivy. So Auntie Ivy, when she started dating, when she started dating my friend's dad, she went to my friend's dad mansion. They were pretty rich family lah. They were like a very wealthy family, and the mansion was a colonial era mansion. So there was a lot of old stuff. But this was in the 90s lah, 90s or the early 90s. So she went to the house and she was waiting for my friend's dad to get ready. So she can play the piano. So there was a grand piano in front of the stairway. Is it in front of the stairway? Yeah. And then there was a clock in the like on the wall behind the piano.
Is that a grandfather clock?
No, it's just a wall clock. So
okay.
So while waiting, she thought there's nothing to do, and then she go and play the piano lah, right? Okay, so they play the piano, and then when she played the piano, she had a very serene feeling. She feel very peaceful. Then she saw a little girl walking up from the back of the house and admiring her play the piano lah.
Yeah. And
then she saw the time passes by. She notices the clock was ticking extraordinarily fast. While she was playing, like time passes by lah, that kind of concept. Yeah. So after she's done playing, the girl went back to the back of the house to play, and then my friend's dad came down from the second floor and asked and saw her on the piano, and then he said, "Oh, you're playing the piano?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm playing the piano." And they're like, "How could you be playing the piano when it's already broken?"
What?
Yeah. Then she said, "What do you mean? I was just playing the piano." Then my friend says, like, "Yeah, but the piano was out of tune and was broken ages ago, like many years ago, and it hasn't been played for like 10 years, 20 years."
Wow.
And then she said, but I was playing it like, and I noticed when I was playing it, the time was passing by really fast. Then my friend's dad said the clock was broken too. The clock wasn't even working. And then she looked up at the clock. The clock wasn't even moving.
Oh man.
And then okay, fine. Then she tried to change topic. Then she said, okay, then fine. Let's not talk about this. Then she asked, so who's that little girl in the house? I didn't know that you have a niece or a nephew, a niece or like a sister or something like that. There was no little girl in the house. There was no little girl in the house. There was everyone is an adult. There was no little girls.
There's no children in the house.
No children
First of all,
in the house.
There's a broken grand piano. There's a broken clock, and there were no children.
Yeah.
And whatever that your friend Auntie Ivy saw is the complete opposite of what is there.
Yes. She saw everything that was not there.
it's like things just conjure up to mess with her mental.
Yep.
Wow. So do you guys find out why did this happen? Where did it stem from?
Okay, so the little girl was, I think, apparently one of the residents of the house during the Japanese occupation era. So apparently she was bayoneted. There was a document. There was like stories of the house, and then there was this particular girl that was bayoneted behind the house, and her body was, I think, was thrown away somewhere behind the house. Nobody saw her, but residents of the house have always been saying that there was a little girl in the house. And even my friend, when he was young, he told me that he played with a little girl before.
So it's the same girl?
Yeah, so when he was 1 or 2 years old, when my friend was 1 or 2 or 3 years old, he remembered there was a little girl he played with, but then he couldn't recall much of it. And then my friend's dad said there was no little girl in the house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is wild, man.
Yeah. So
like, how do you explain that? There is no explanation.
Exactly.
Oh man. Wow, really good sharing so far, Kenneth. I honestly love it. Like, because I feel that these stories and experiences, they are so personal.
Yeah.
And with each experience and stories shared, right, you know, it's somehow, you know, oh, we get scared, you know, we get terrified, but behind it, right, you feel like, wow, you know, it's like, it's, even though it's terrifying, but it's a unique experience to that person.
Yeah.
And if another person were to share the story, and you will sort of get another vibe, another kind of energy from that. So, you know, I think I tend to appreciate that kind of feeling, you know, because when you share with me all these stories, and my friend Linus share with his stories, yeah, they are scary stories, but they are so vastly different.
Yeah,
really
like
good sharing.
The stories that they share is completely different, and yeah, like all these experiences is very unique to each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, guys, like if you guys have a ghost stories of your own, and then you have some personal stories, just put them in the comments, hit us up, let us know what's your story, and then we'll get to see it. And yeah, for those who want to experience the Cameron house, hit us up either. We'll tell you where the house is, and then
I've never been to that house, so you know, now that the pandemic is still going strong in Malaysia, God knows when we can head out of our houses. But honestly, kind of, if there is an opportunity, I would want to, you know, go on a trip with you guys
and
just
see
to
do that kind of shit, right? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's a story to tell to the end of time.
Yeah.
You know, and this really reminds me of something as well. Because kind of, you know, my friend Linus as well.
Yeah.
We attended his wedding together before in the
Yeah.
Far East, right? So I remember there was this one time we were just chilling with Linus. He was driving us, you know.
Yeah,
he was driving us in his truck. Okay, so I just want to share this really short story before I wrap it up.
Okay.
So I think this was before or after the wedding. So it's just a chill day out, you know. So our friend Linus was chauffeuring us around in his truck, and he wanted to show to us, you know, some of the charms of Sabah. We were, you know, we were at some waterfront, we were at some nice spots and all, and he brought us to this hillside where there are very nice bungalows and houses there. I forgot what's the name of the place.
Okay.
So remember when Linus brought us there? There's actually a house by the corner of the hill. And Linus actually told us that house is haunted because the occupants there was actually murdered and the house was set on fire. Because the story goes like this. It's a wealthy family. They were targeted by a group of people. So what they did was that I think they killed the family by setting fire to the house in some way, I'm not sure. But somehow the perpetrators were burnt along with them also. I guess they were careless and stupid So So when Linus was approaching the property of that burnt house that I just mentioned, I heard Linus say, "Fuck it." Then I'm like, what do you mean, fuck it? And he's like, I see something. And then when I asked him, what do you see? And he said, I see a lady, a very tall lady, with a black face, with no features, wearing a very long white dress. Then I was like thinking, oh, that is so cliche. Are you sure? So that's when you told me you saw something as well, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. So I can't argue with that.
I think I saw a white shade,
but
I didn't see what was it particularly. Like just a white shade, yeah.
But there is something, yeah. So that was, I would say, my closest encounter to maybe this spirits or entities, you know. Yeah, but fuck, I still couldn't see them. So I guess it's a blessing.
Yeah, like I guess this is all up to individual interpretation. Like I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Like I mean, from people who is hearing all this from us, they might think like, oh, you know, all these are personal experiences, and you know, like maybe it's the environment that you're in that makes you hallucinate or makes you stressed out or give you unnecessary pressure from your own body, because when you're in a very confusing and very limited, how to say, when all your senses are being limited, like your sight, your smell, your touch, everything was being limited, you naturally feel confused. And with the lack of information around you, your brain might try to conjure up some images to replace the gap or something like that. So people will interpret it differently, but I guess when you're there on your own, and then when you finally experiences it, who knows, right? Like what is your what's your experience gonna be like? So
I guess in time we'll find out.
Yeah. So for those who want to know what house it is, just hit us up. We'll take you there. I guess that's all the time that we have. Before we end the show, Cal, do you want to add on anything more?
Well, I guess in the end of the day, right, there's still so many universal things that we don't understand about, and like what we mentioned earlier, our mind is so limited. We have no other references to other things, from out of this world. So the things that we think that is bad, maybe it's actually good, and the things we perceive as good might be bad. It's so subjective, and things are so different for everybody. So, but in this case, in terms of encountering spirit entities, I mean, even in movies, right, we do see some spirits, they help the character, they help the protagonist, because the spirit, maybe he was wrong at the beginning and he wanted to achieve a certain objective, that's why he helped the protagonist or stuff like that, you know. And then there are the purely hardcore evil demons, that kind of thing. So
I mean, I totally agree with you, because can you imagine the world, the Earth is, I think the Earth was like a few million years old, but life itself, I think only came up in the recent 330,000, 50,000 years.
I'm not sure about that, but wow, that is short.
Let me
in the grand scheme of things,
Let me do a quick Google. How old is Earth?
Go to the rescue, man.
Okay, Earth is 4.5 billion years old.
Wow. Jesus.
4.543 billion years old. The Earth that we're living in right now, it's 4.54 billion years old. Okay?
What an old rock.
Yeah, so how old is life on Earth? Okay.
Research, man.
Okay, so life on Earth dates from at least 3.5 billion years ago.
Well, I guess if you talk about life forms, right? It could be the smallest of bacteria or plankton, that kind of thing,
So let me Google how old is human race. Okay, Homo sapiens was thought to have evolved approximately 200,000 years ago.
Oh, only 200,000 years ago.
Yeah, so can you imagine Earth was 5.43 million years ago, billion years ago, and
in the grand scheme of things, we are so young.
So the whole entire history of the human race is only, let me do a quick math, 5.43.
Here's my friend Kenneth doing calculations on how old is the human race in comparison to the entire,
Okay, so human race is approximately 0.0003683% of Earth life.
Wow, I just suddenly felt so fucking insignificant.
Yeah, human history is not even 0.0001%. Yeah, we're not even 1%. We're not even 0.5%.
Oh man.
Yeah, so can you imagine?
So guys, if you feel your problems are very big, you could always think that way.
So can you imagine? It took us from being primates to building rockets in 200,000 years.
Yeah.
Like, then, can you imagine what had happened in between? Like 4.53 billion years in between that timeline. How much could have happened? Maybe advanced civilization might have come and gone, like 100 times over, and then now there's us.
Yeah. They are born of Earth already.
Yeah, like, can you imagine? So
maybe we're just DNA implanted here on Earth by other civilizations.
By aliens.
Yeah. Remember there's this movie?
Yeah.
I remember there's this movie. It's by Nicolas Cage. It's about the world's gonna end, and then the aliens came and saved all the children, and they migrate all the children to another planet.
Oh shit! Yeah, I know that movie.
Yeah, you know that movie.
And then everyone just hugged themselves while
they're decimated in the fire.
Yeah, while there's a meteor or a nuclear war or something like that.
Yeah, it's the solar flare.
Yeah, solar flare. Yeah.
So basically, how everyone on Earth died is because the sun farted.
Which is true. Which is true. We could literally die if the sun had an extraordinary solar flare. Yeah.
Yeah, we very well could. So yeah, appreciate the life that you have right now.
So yeah, okay. So that's all the time that we have. I hope you guys enjoyed the story that we just told. And if you want like more episodes like this, just give us a like, let us know in the comments, and yeah, have a good day. Take care.
Good night. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.